If you enjoy watching films like James Bond, you may notice that he exudes an unusual calmness. Regardless of the situation he faces, the audience never has the opportunity to witness James Bond in panic or confusion. Even when in the presence of beautiful and sophisticated women, we never see James Bond nervous or speaking hesitantly. On the contrary, in all the situations I mentioned, James Bond remains calmly composed, systematically addressing each challenge. Some may call it stoic or cool, but regardless of the label, it cannot be denied that this calm demeanor captivates both men and women alike. I once shared in one of my videos that one of the most attractive qualities in a man is his calmness and composed demeanor. Being beside a composed individual makes us feel a sense of safety and emanating trust. However, Stoic philosophy points out a challenge. Most of us struggle to maintain composure in every circumstance. We often become overly excited with positive emotions, suffer deeply from negative ones, become overly fearful with feelings of dread, or excessively aggressive with feelings of anger. These are the individuals we might call slaves to emotions because their lives are immersed in difficulties and suffering, mainly stemming from decisions guided by emotions rather than reason. But don't worry too soon, because Stoic philosophy asserts that composure depends on one's ability to control emotions. Therefore, the better you control your emotions, the easier it is to remain calm during turbulent times. In today's video, I will share with you what you can do from the perspective of Stoic philosophy to cultivate composure and a composed demeanor in a man. If this is a topic that interests you, why hesitate? Sit down and join us on this journey of self-improvement. Number 1. Self-awareness. Allow me to share a story with you that I used to be a carefree, hot-tempered person who had little control over my emotions. However, those who encounter me now often remark that I appear much calmer and cautious than before. For me, everything people perceive in me and everything I radiate outwardly is encapsulated in one word: calmness. Calmness does not mean indifference or apathy towards the surroundings, nor is it being indifferent to the joys and sorrows of life. The calmness within me is the ability to control emotions, to let go of negative emotions like anger and sadness, to appreciate the beauty in the smallest ordinary things. Calmness is maintaining clarity in most situations, self-awareness, and not being distracted by meaningless or negative things that may adversely affect oneself. Furthermore, I would like to emphasize that calmness does not mean the absence of passion or enthusiasm. On the contrary, the vigor of youth is heightened through focused concentration, keen awareness, and the nurturing of a composed personality. Becoming a calm person is not an easy feat. However, everything will change and improve as we define and develop every aspect of ourselves. Stoic philosophy reminds us that to achieve calmness, each person must go through a process where we experience individualized training methods. Suppose, for instance, you come across a malicious comment online, and a surge of anger builds up within you. At this moment, you may want to immediately respond with harsh words to satisfy the anger within. However, if you actually do so, it means you let anger control your actions, or in other words, you become a slave to emotions. Stoic philosophy suggests that with calmness, instead of instantly retaliating to a malicious comment, we need to pause, take a deep breath, and then realize that arguing with a stranger online brings no benefit except for providing a fleeting sense of satisfaction. Calmness is exactly like that. If we act based on our emotions, it means we have lost our composure. If we cannot self-awarely recognize which emotion exists within us, we cannot prevent it from taking control, making us behave as if we are slaves to that emotion. Therefore, the first principle to achieve calmness is always to be self-aware. Number 2. Cease complaining. Stoic philosophers teach us that to become a calm person, We should not blow small matters out of proportion, but rather package significant issues into smaller ones. Life becomes much simpler for those who know how to live. So, let me share a story with you. When I was young, my grandmother owned a store. Being a sociable person, every time a familiar customer entered the shop, she would inquire, something along the lines of, "How are you today, Mr. Thomas?" Many people enthusiastically shared with her a day full of events, joyful or sorrowful tales, news of a newborn in the family, someone rebuilding their thatched roof, or someone in need of assistance. However, there were also those who consistently responded to such inquiries with a litany of complaints. For example, an elderly customer named Thomas often lamented, "Today is so dull, Mrs. Henderson. Can't you see? It's scorching hot this summer. I hate the blazing sun. It exhausts me. Terrible." A middle-aged customer named Smith would reply, "It's the same every day, isn't it, Mrs. Henderson? Working all day, then market shopping, cleaning, I'm fed up. And the weather is cold. Awful. How can anyone live like this?" Even some children would often sigh, "We're so bored, Mrs. Henderson. Every day is school, then home to a pile of homework, and my mom makes me tidy up my room. It's unbearable." Encountering such customers, my grandmother would simply nod and say, "Oh, is that so? Is that so?" On one occasion, as a customer like that left, she called me over, lifting me onto a chair so she could look me in the eyes. Then she gently said, "Did you hear what Mr. Thomas just complained about?" "Yes, I did," she continued. "Many people, both rich and poor, all around the world, went to sleep last night but didn't wake up this morning. There are patients in hospitals everywhere who can't sit up or go outside. All of these people, the sick and those who have departed, would willingly trade anything just to enjoy 5 more minutes of this summer sunshine, these raindrops, and this chilly breeze, to go to work, to go shopping, to sweep their homes, to go to school, to do homework, and to tidy up their own bedrooms. In other words, for the things people sometimes complain about. So, think carefully before you decide to complain, young man. What you should do when you don't like something is either change it or change the way you think about it. Never complain." Similar to the grandmother in the story, Stoic philosophy also reminds us that to become a calm person, we should stop complaining about everything, including mundane Mondays, unfinished messy work, not being able to go here or there, and not being able to buy this or that. Complaining will never lead to finding any value, but, on the contrary, it will make us feel even more miserable. Instead of focusing on the meaningless and ugly, we should concentrate on the beautiful, hopeful aspects and opportunities for self-improvement. I believe we can share our difficulties with our loved ones to feel lighter, and, from there, find ways to overcome challenges. However, this doesn't mean we should complain and remain dissatisfied. Clearly, making an effort to work and act to bring about change is a better solution. Number 3. Always maintain doubt. From the perspective of Stoic philosophy, always doubting means that we must consistently acknowledge that we don't have definitive answers to any issues. What we are doing, what we believe, is merely a product of our past experiences and is not necessarily the truth. This is a lingering issue in today's world. People scroll through social media posts and happen upon a false news article about someone. Due to a lack of skepticism, they hastily believe the news to be accurate without pausing to consider whether the source is reliable. Because of this blind belief, individuals easily get swept up in the emotions of the crowd, easily manipulated. At this point, doubt acts like a tether, helping you rein in the emotional horse running recklessly ahead. To become a calm person, Stoic philosophy reminds you that you must always question what you receive, especially in the current technological era. Is this information accurate? Are there scientific proofs supporting it? Is the person sharing the information presenting a biased perspective to benefit themselves? Asking these questions keeps your mind in a state of doubt and caution. This sense of skepticism helps you gain a more insightful and discerning perspective. Number 4. Read books and personal development. Stoic philosophy offers an incredibly simple method for individuals to attain tranquility in life. Reading books and personal development. In many of my videos, I've consistently emphasized the importance of books in shaping a good personality for individuals. If you choose the right books, meaningful and insightful ones, you can nurture beautiful values and tranquility from within the pages. Life is too vast for us to remain stuck in our own emotions and discomfort. When we read books, when we focus on personal development, we realize that there are still many places to explore, many things to learn, and many treasures to discover. Therefore, we need the tranquility within ourselves to understand that we are always ready to grow, understand more, and mature. Focusing on self-development each day helps open our minds and hearts to the vastness of the world, enabling us to see the countless beauties around us. Understanding the core of tranquility, I always remind myself to maintain calmness within, so that my life can expand broader and deeper. Number 5. Choose what enters your mind. In a certain lecture hall, a young professor posed a question to his students. What are you putting into your minds every day? What are you feeding your brains and consciousness? And how many of you realize that we are influenced by numerous negative factors like violence, aggression, stress, consumerism, individualism, and so on? While the professor's question is not unfamiliar to us, it serves as a reminder to be vigilant and selective in the information we consume and use the current information communication networks. The concept of input selection applies to various fronts, including choosing movies to watch, selecting books to read, or challenging ourselves with intellectually demanding books across various fields to nurture a developing and healthy brain. Beyond external information, Stoic philosophy also reminds us that we must continuously generate positive, healing, and creative thoughts ourselves. Only then can our emotions, reactions, and behaviors develop in a positive and optimal way. Moreover, to cultivate these positive thoughts, one must always dedicate time to oneself, shutting out all external noise and sensory distractions, focusing solely on the inner world. Meditating for 20 minutes each day is sure to bring about significant changes in how we perceive ourselves and the world around us. Finally, being aware of what we put into our minds daily is immensely important. It shapes our personality, mindset, abilities, experiences, reactions, way of life, and many other aspects of ourselves. Becoming a positive and knowledgeable person is not easy, but I believe it is built upon small, conscious decisions in our daily lives. This concludes the last method I want to introduce to you on the list of ways to cultivate tranquility and a composed demeanor in life. If the information I've shared is helpful to you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to continue the journey with us in upcoming videos. Thank you for watching our video, and we hope to see you in the next ones.